Just talk about
Yay! There your mic is there. You're right there.
For yours.
We can't.
We can't share.
Especially nowadays.
I don't want to sit up so high. I'm just going to sit here with you guys. How's it going? Hi. Hi. Why don't you get chairs? It's brutal. I'm so sorry. Well, at least I'm on the ground with you.
Well, the trick is to stay in the same patch of cement all day. Then it'll warm nicely, and then it'll be less uncomfortable later.
Just give everybody a roll of tape and have your own space.
Well, it's cool to chat with you. I know you've been working around Canada a lot. You're Canadian yourself. You've kind of moved back to the area, and I think you've shot a lot in Canada. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of people, and there are a couple people here.
That picture.
Look at that.
Jeez, she was a fox, pre-baby.
But we have some obvious Supergirl fans in the house.
Very cool. My nemesis. That's okay.
So, like Christmas dinner in the family now, how many superheroes show up? I feel like almost everybody in your immediate family has portrayed some superhero character.
Pretty close. So yeah, Steve Cass was on a crossover. Yep. Obviously my husband.
Yep.
Who's like the world's saddest story of a fiance dying and then his wife moving on so quickly. Yeah, I think that's all the people I'm related to in the film industry.
It'd be a cool little. It's like a little Comic-Con in itself, like your family get-togethers. That's pretty awesome.
Well, none of us got to keep the costumes.
No, come on.
Maybe Steve. I don't know. But yeah, it's been fun. That didn't shoot. So Supergirl does shoot in Canada. It's in Vancouver, but when I shot in season 1, it was in LA on the Warner Brothers lot, which was really cool. But I had a lot of fun on that show. I really thought, because they didn't kill me, I was like, I'm coming back for sure, and then.
You never know.
And I ended up in the White House.
Well, this is true. Yeah, you've done a lot of cool. Designated Survivor.
That shot here.
That shot here. Yeah, that must have been Is it a complicated show to shoot with all the there's like a heaviness to it. There's a lot of lingo. There's a lot of
Yeah. I honestly, some days, it was like learning just a really long number. I had no idea what the hell I was saying. I just had to make the words sound like I knew what I was saying, and then people bought it. It was great. But this set was actually really cool because they built an entire wing of the White House. So when we were actually doing those long walk and talks, we were just walking around like a real set. We didn't have to stop and pick up, and they did that in the West Wing as well. But yeah, it was nice. It was not so nice for me because I was in heels following men in flat shoes all the time. So there's quite a few bloopers of me just eating shit on the floor, just losing it. Or they've kept one in. Some fan called me out once. And they saw the clip, and I'm stumble, and then I get my footing, and I look back at my phone or something. So that was fun.
I gotta know, because Kiefer's doing the whole music thing now. I think released a new song about Toronto, I believe, a week ago.
He was telling me when he was filming something for it here, on Bloor Street or something.
Yeah, on Bloor. That's right. Yeah. So his process on set, does he play his own music and get himself psyched? He does.
Well, not to psych himself up, but in between takes he's strumming his guitar.
Really? Okay, cool.
He's listening to the latest version and stuff, and he's so pumped about it. He doesn't watch any of the show. He will not watch an episode of TV that he's done. He will not watch his films. But his music he will play on repeat for hours. And he's just so proud of it, and he's just such a good guy, so it makes my heart warm.
How about you? Are you somebody, if you're flipping through the channels and something that you've done pops up?
I watch everything.
You do?
All the time. Because I have to make sure that, I end up hating it always anyway, because I'm I could have done that better or whatever. But I have to watch it to know that I at least didn't bomb hard, which I have done, but at least I want to know.
You make notes? So
I Google myself. Anybody who says they don't are liars.
I say it's not good to do, because then people. The internet's not always honest.
Things. Well, I got lucky though. So I did a show called Chasing Life, where I played a girl fighting leukemia, and so that was my first sort of push into social media, and a lot of the comments I was getting in the messages were people telling me how they related to that, whether it was a family member, a coworker, themselves, or some struggle that they had. So I felt sort of the responsibility to read every single thing, because if they had the balls to share it with me, the least I could do was read it. And so it just that was so important to me, and now I'm like I read everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and so because I never want like something meaningful to slip. So I drink a lot of wine.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Get through it.
Big heavy glass.
Yeah.
Dive into the Google.
Just a straw in the bottle.
That's
it's fine.
What do you do if you find something they got the facts wrong? Do you what do you do about that? Do you put out do you tweet something and be like, guys, by the way, this is not accurate, or do
Sometimes.
you do? Okay.
Yeah. Occasionally, but I try my best not to respond to the negative stuff, because then people are going to just post negative things to get a reaction out of it.
But sometimes the facts are just wrong. Like, oh, instead of saying, you're born in Richmond Hill, they're like, oh, her dad was the mayor of Richmond Hill and she was...
I would run with that.
You would just go with
cool.
it.
My dad would be like, sure, great, I work in Vaughan, but whatever.
Why not? If the stories are cool, just lean into it.
Yeah, it's what hill is worth dying on, you know what I mean?
This is true.
So if they said that I had a kid with Steven, I might go after someone.
Okay, that's going to cause complications.
We end up on Maury.
Yes. Speaking of the whole family thing, how did you and Robbie end up crossing paths in the first place? If we could dive into the personal, was it a work thing? Was it
was 2007.
Okay.
On a cinematic masterpiece called American Pie Beta House.
Yes.
I think it was number 7. The movie that changed our lives and none of our careers. So we were, there were so many characters, I think I was slutty college girl 14 or something, and he was hot pledge or something. And so they would always ask, we need a party scene, we need however many people, and we would always hang back because we're like, nah, I'm good, whatever, and we would play video games. And so we had to end up kissing in that show, and they asked me, they're like, are you comfortable? And I was like, sure, what's he look like? And they showed me, I was like, yeah, he'll do. And then I came out of the trailer, and I had my hair all in rollers, my makeup wasn't done yet, and I was like, hey, I'm Italia, I think we've got a smooch in this, and he was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, rude. Not even a little bit excited, which, by the way, you shouldn't be, because it's unprofessional. And so then I come out after hair and makeup, and I'm out of the trailer, and he was just like, wow. And I was like, that's better, thank you. And then the rest is, so our first kiss is on camera, it's on screen. And we've been together ever since.
That's very cool.
Still feeling it out. He's so far pretty good first husband.
Okay. That's good. They hit your stride by 3, but...
Yeah. Oh, God.
If you're like, oh, hey, I don't know, not trying to jinx it.
Yeah.
No, it's cool to see you guys together, though. You guys are at the table signing. It must be cool to, not only did you meet on camera, but you're still able to work together. Your careers have kind of crossed paths over the years.
We've done little funny cameos.
Yeah.
In Chasing Life, the show I was talking about, he plays in one episode some random guy at a pub in the afternoon who sells me ecstasy. And in a movie called The Duff that he did, that I made him do because he didn't want to, but it was brilliant and I knew he had to. The beginning of the show, Mae Whitman, the lead girl, is explaining who everybody is, and so she points to his room because they're neighbors, and he's making out with a cheerleader. And so I was on set that day when they were filming it, and Robbie came into his trailer and was like, hey, do you want to throw a cheerleading uniform on and make out with me for this one shot? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, I guess I'm going to go handpick an extra then. And I was like, okay, all right, hold on. And then, so that's me in the movie. What else have we came in? I did a couple little things on True Jackson whenever they needed a girl, and I was hanging out. They're like, Italia, go to wardrobe.
It's good.
And Unnatural History was another show I did in Toronto, and he was in the pilot and maybe a couple other episodes. Whenever he was in town, they'd write him in, and it's been fun. We've been very, very, very lucky.
And I take it, auditions, we always have a reader. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Although it's hard, though, because if
it's
something that I'm not super confident in, he knows that I'm acting. So I'm like, don't look at me. Even though he could end up watching it on TV. It's just his presence. That's why we've never, been leads with each other, because,
yeah.
He just knows he can see all the decisions because he knows me so well. So maybe if the right project comes along.
Yeah, I know some people that are. Yeah, sometimes it's an intimate thing, and with someone close to you, kind of.
Well, even
watching
the kiss,
what you're doing. Yeah.
The kiss in The Duff when they were action, and he kissed me. I'm like, what are you doing? What is that kiss? Why are you kissing me like that? Because real kisses don't look good on camera. So movie kisses are really not real kisses. They shouldn't be anyway. Because you're all about which side looks better, and am I hitting the light, and don't squish my nose.
I'm learning so much. You know what? This is Okay, I feel like we could dive into that a little more. I'm very curious as to like, do your mouth still line up?
It's like, well,
You got to not really
you
because you
don't
want to
too
catch that,
much.
right? You want
Yeah.
to catch that profile and that nice shot.
Well,
so.
that's the thing too. There's a blooper. I think I posted it with Aiden Canto, who was Aaron Shore on Designated Survivor, and we both were. It was like a slow lean in, but then we both kind of didn't know which side the other one was going to, and we kept like bonking and stuff. And it's kissing is hard business.
There's an art. It's an art.
It really is.
It is an art. Now, we have a lot of people here today now. I know we have a mic that we have somewhere right there we go. So if you have a question, if you want to just like throw your hand up, we can get to you real quick. So yeah, if you guys can start thinking. I'm going to buy you like a minute of time. Okay, I don't have to buy you time. I was going to kill some time. Okay, great. Boom, right off the front. Go ahead. What is your question?
Hi. Because you've done like so many, like Chasing Life, Designated Survivor, Supergirl are very different. I was just wondering, like, did you have a different prep for it? Because was there a different preparation for the role? Was there something specific?
Thank you. That's a interesting question. But I've never really been too challenged by something because
I thought you were going to say you never prepared for anything. You're like, I've never really prepared.
No, I just kind of wing it. Are you kidding me? That's my nightmare. I kind of feel like I've played different versions of myself. Like, I could be that if I leaned into that side of me, or I could, maybe not Silver Banshee, but, catch me on a bad morning, maybe. But the number one thing that I do is be prepared. I work on my stuff ahead of time. I know the lines. I do my homework, and that is so that I'm never nervous to get there because I know that I've done what I need to do. But the research is different always, like Chasing Life. At first, I wanted to research everything about acute myeloid leukemia and everything about cancer in young adults. But then I realized my character didn't know any of that. So I wanted to learn it with her, so I wasn't anticipating things. So then that changed how I went into that role. But the writing staff, everybody was great. So they helped it sort of evolve. Designated, I think I bought How the White House Works for Idiots, and not that it matters, because nobody really knows how it works, because look at it. And so I just kind of, that one was literally watching The West Wing and just getting the music of political jargon, and so knowing how to say it at a speed which makes it kind of interesting, even though you don't know what any of the words mean. What else? Silver Banshee was, I just looked at the comics and watched some clips and kind of went off of what the creative team were kind of going for, and I remember them being kind of like Emily Blunt in Devil Wears Prada. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I basically just copied that. I feel like that, and then everything else, like Unnatural History, I was just basically me. The Beta House one, a way sluttier version of me. I feel like I don't know what else I've done.
Does that happen where you kind of forget and then someone comes up to you and reminds you of something that you've done? You're like, oh yes, I totally forgot about that. Does that ever happen to you?
It does, or it's something that they're like, oh my God, I love your work. And I'd be like, oh, thank you. And they're like, really loved you in Don John. I was like, I did one sex scene in Don John. That was my whole role. But thank you very much for telling me that in front of your wife. It's very awkward.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay. Weird to bring up.
My dad was, oh God. We shot that in LA, and he was in town visiting, and sides are what you get, the little version of the script that you're shooting that day that has all the directions and the lines and yada yada. And my mom found them, and we were at dinner, and she's like, honey, and it's a comedy, but it's on paper it sounds pretty graphic. And she was like, honey, when you're doing this, do you actually have to do that? And I was like, my dad was like, Jesus! And I was just the absolute most uncomfortable dinner I've had in my life. So hide your sides, okay? Hide your sides when family's in town.
Yeah, that got to be a little uncomfortable too, to you're watching certain things with family, and
I would not watch that with my family. Are you crazy?
I'm just saying, what if your parents called you up and said, hey, we just watched that episode, and you're like, oh, this is.
Oh no, I didn't even tell them when that one came out. But my grandparents, if they watch Designated or whatever, and I have to kiss somebody else, or Robbie does on something, or my Hallmarks, they're like. My grandfather calls me, he's like, what are you thinking? Robbie's such a good guy. And I'm like, what? I'm not leaving him. That's not how this works. You watch Young and the Restless all day. You can't possibly think that is real. He does. He fully does. And he asks me every day when I'm going to be on it. It's lovely.
Young and the Restless is a documentary. We know that. We know that.
Yeah.
It's completely real.
Totally. It's a reality show. It's like Real Housewives
it's like-
of wherever the hell
It's
they
the longest running reality show of all time, I think.
Yeah.
It's been around for
A
a while.
lot of twins.
Lot
of twins.
Weird.
A lot of comas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so weird. And they always just come back in the nick of time.
Yeah, looking a little different.
Yeah, like with a ponytail.
Like as if they were recast.
So weird. So weird. Do you ever fall into the soap opera thing? Like, what's your guilty pleasure, like viewing, killing time, want to like just kind of detach from the world? What do you put on?
I listen to like murder podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Like true crime podcasts. There's one called Morbid that I like, and Sword and Scale and that sort of stuff. Because I can't just sit still. I have a 2-year-old, so I'm like, if I have a couple hours, I'm doing laundry or I'm scrubbing the bathtub or something. So podcast.
Murder podcast.
Although I just started one called Obituaries, but bitch is like BITCH, and it's these friends that just like find the most outrageous but real obituaries. Like sometimes they're scathing, and sometimes like one will be like this, and then underneath you realize there was a whole second family, and like it's just crazy, but it's really fun.
Okay. You put any thought into like, some people write their own, and then it's like really cool, and it makes them sound pretty badass. Anything that you would make sure you'd want included? Like you would be like the coolest.
I don't know. This is weird. I don't know.
Let's
I
just
don't
do
know.
it. Let's just talk about.
Should we talk about something else?
Yeah. No. Okay. We can talk about something else. I feel like we would just. I would personally. I would lie and make myself sound a lot. So people would be like, "I wish I knew that guy." That's what I would kind of want to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had enough coffee to think about my obituary yet.
Well,
Not
come
today.
on.
Not today.
We didn't
we
know?
got a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, I would like to know how fun was it to play a supervillain on
How
Supergirl?
fun? Oh my God, so fun. I was terrified at first because I had never done very sci-fi things, and that was always Robbie's wheelhouse. And I was like, I don't know if I can be that like pretendy. You know what I mean? So like, first of all, the makeup and the hair helped me so much because they did most of my job for me. But what I was not prepared for was showing up on set and getting ready for this fight scene, and then all of a sudden, like Melissa, who plays Supergirl, would be like, and then just run off stage. And I was like, what the hell was that? And they're like, she flew away. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about all of this. It's all fake. It's all fake. Oh my God. So I had to just like, and Grant there too, just like faking coming in. And I fully just had to just forget that I was a grown-up for a couple days and pretend I was 6 years old. And then once I stopped caring, it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Cool. Thanks for the question. We have another question over here. Go ahead.
Hi, Italia.
Hi.
Really important question. But first of all, love all your mom posts. I love all those stories.
Thank you.
But being a new mom, what's your go-to varietal for wine?
I have been getting into a little bit of a like biodynamic, organic vibe here in Toronto because the scene is pretty good for it. Nice to see you again, by the way. So I've been trying different ones. Un Litro is a really good one that I like. But if it's red and if it's after kiddo's bedtime, I will drink it. That's basically it. Oh, you get another one.
Okay, this is really important. Pizza or McDonald's?
Well, in what kind of world do I have to choose? I have McDonald's every single day because my son is going to school now, and there's a McDonald's on the way, and so he gets a hash brown, and I get 2 Egg McMuffins, no butter. It's a problem, but I haven't found really great pizza in Toronto yet. I feel like if I could find a really good pizza place, I might be able to like socially distance myself from McDonald's, but I got to work on that. I'll talk to someone about it. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks so much. Any other? I thought I saw a hand. Maybe okay in the front.
Fit square represent.
Hi, I was just wondering if you've had any pizza while you've been in town.
I have. Of course I have. It's pizza. But I literally only go for the garlic dipping sauce. Like, I could dip broccoli in it and be happy with it. That's that sauce I want to, like, fill a bathtub. Ew, probably not. But this, I go to pizza for the sauce. Their pizzas, I think, have slipped a little bit, in my personal opinion. But the sauce is solid. I love that my questions are about food and wine.
Please tweet pizza right now. And
No, don't. They're still nice people, I'm sure.
Now, before we wrap up, I think I thought maybe there was one more question, but maybe not. I want to talk about what you got coming up next, because you're working on something that's going to be people can watch soon on Netflix. Can we talk about the new project?
Yeah.
Are you okay to discuss in great detail everything?
I don't know about how great detail I can go. Who dies?
Who dies? Oh, let's start with that. Who dies? Okay, great.
No, it's called The Imperfects, and it is a sci-fi show where I play a genetic scientist who had tried to cure a condition with a clinical trial involving children that then grow up having developed side effects that they don't want, that are more side effects than superpowers to begin with. And so then we team up to try and find my old partner who was the one who went kind of rogue, and it's fun. It's really cool. And that, again, very sci-fi, and now I'm stabbing a chupacabra or something. It's just all, again, I'm I in these situations, I'm always I was so excited to read it, and then I get here and I'm oh, now I have to pretend to do it. Great. But it's so fun. The kids in it are great. We shot it in Vancouver. I think it's going to come out maybe in the spring of next year. 10 episodes. It's it's comic booky, but kind of horror, but really funny and grungy and stylized, and there's blood and guts and comedy, and it's dark and cool, and I'm so pumped for it, actually. When we shot it, I was this is crazy. I have no idea what's going on, and then I saw it and I almost cried. I was this is the coolest show. So I'm really excited.
My only question, I guess, is the chupacabra thing. Is that real? Is that in the show?
There is a chupacabra in the show.
Okay, I'm sold at that. Okay.
Great, there is, yeah.
Obviously a real life one that you guys trained on camera.
We did, yep.
Incredible.
Yeah. His name is Chewy.
Wow.
He was lovely, yeah.
Wow, hits his mark every time, I heard.
Well, give or take the claws,
Okay.
Depends.
Okay, there you go. That's a first on camera. Make sure you check it out, The Imperfects. And give it up one more time, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Italia Ricci. Thank you so much.